Amy says she hasn't seen her sister in 2 months. She tries to package it carefully, like it's nothing more than adult scheduling conflicts, like it's just life pulling two busy women in different directions. She shrugs when she says it. She smiles, but her voice tightens in a way that doesn't match the casual delivery. There's a faint crack in the middle of the sentence, and then she laughs. A quick, controlled laugh that feels like it's covering something tender. 2 months doesn't sound dramatic when you say it out loud. Plenty of siblings go longer without seeing each other. But context matters. And for them, 2 months isn't just a gap in the calendar. It's a break in rhythm. It's a disruption of something that used to feel constant. For years, their lives overlapped so completely that separation barely existed. Doctor visits were shared experiences. Surgeries weren't private medical events, they were family milestones. Emotional breakdowns happened in the same rooms. Arguments happened face to face. Even their worst fights ended with proximity. They lived inside each other's orbit. If one struggled, the other was physically there. If one succeeded, the other stood beside her. Closeness wasn't optional. It was built into their daily structure. Now the relationship mostly lives inside a group chat. Words appear on a screen instead of across a kitchen table. Emojis replace eye contact. Updates get delivered in neat, typed sentences that can be reread, ignored, or answered hours later. There are no impulsive visits, no quick come-over moments, no sitting side by side long enough for silence to soften into comfort. The connection feels efficient, organized, stripped of spontaneity. And that's when something fundamental changes. Because what's unsettling here isn't noise. It's absence. Tammy isn't yelling. She isn't slamming doors. She isn't creating scenes. She simply isn't present the way she once was. And sometimes, absence lands heavier than anger ever could. Anger suggests emotion. Anger suggests someone still cares enough to react. Silence suggests adjustment. It suggests someone may have already rehearsed living without you. When Amy mentions the comment Tammy made about her social media photo, the drag queen joke, she doesn't react explosively. She doesn't demand accountability. She waves it off as teasing. But there's weight under her tone. The issue isn't really the joke itself. It's the feeling attached to it. It didn't come wrapped in warmth. It didn't feel like playful sister sarcasm. It felt flat, detached. And detachment feels unfamiliar between them. Tammy used to be intense, emotional, quick to react. Even at her most volatile, there was energy behind it. Passion. Now she's steady, measured, thoughtful in a way that feels deliberate. On the surface, that steadiness looks like growth. And in many ways, it is. She laughs more easily. She seems less defensive. She talks about building a future with Andrea with clarity instead of chaos. But beneath that calm is something protective. Whenever Amy's voice shifts into something softer, something searching for reassurance, Tammy subtly retreats. It's not dramatic. It's not confrontational. It's barely noticeable unless you're paying attention. But the pattern is consistent. Amy leans in emotionally. Tammy stabilizes and steps back. And that subtle step back changes the power dynamic. When one person wants closeness more than the other, the balance shifts automatically. The one who appears to need less looks stronger. The one who reaches looks exposed. Amy is in the middle of planning a wedding that's 6 months away with almost nothing locked down. No confirmed venue. No finalized vendors. A theme that even parts of her family may not fully support. She tries to explain how quickly everything happened, how she didn't even know Brian a year ago. There's excitement in her voice, but it's tangled with anxiety. She sounds like someone trying to defend her own timeline before anyone criticizes it. What's missing in those conversations is the easy reassurance she used to get from her sister. Tammy's storyline feels lighter by comparison. She's on a putt-putt date, smiling in a way that feels unforced. She's being asked to move in with someone who talks about marriage like it's realistic, not theoretical. There's no frantic energy around her. No visible chaos. Her world looks stable. Amy's world looks pressured. When Tammy says she plans to tell only her mother about moving in with Andrea, not Amy, it doesn't spark a fight. There's no dramatic escalation. But the air changes. It's subtle, but meaningful. That decision quietly communicates that Amy isn't automatically central anymore. Tammy frames it as simplicity, as protecting something new, as avoiding unnecessary complications. But for Amy, who built so much of her identity around always being the first call, it feels like demotion. That's where the imbalance sharpens. Tammy appears calm because she needs less from the dynamic. Amy appears unsettled because she needs more. Not chaos, not conflict, just reassurance. A reminder that she still matters in this new chapter. Tammy's peace depends on boundaries. Amy's security depends on access. And those emotional languages don't naturally align. You can see Amy testing the connection in small, almost invisible ways. She references shared memories. She makes small jokes. She leaves pauses in conversations where reassurance could fit. Tammy responds kindly, but not deeply. Polite, controlled, composed. It doesn't read as cruelty. It reads as caution. Like someone who fought hard for stability and is unwilling to risk slipping back into old patterns. But here's the emotional paradox. When someone protects themselves, it can unintentionally make someone else feel excluded. Amy hasn't stopped reaching. She's still orienting her milestones around Tammy's involvement, still measuring her excitement against whether her sister will show up. But there's less certainty now, less confidence that the old rhythm will automatically return. If Tammy's calm requires emotional distance, the real question isn't whether Amy feels hurt. She does. The real question is how long someone keeps extending their hand when it isn't consistently met. The shift isn't loud. It's layered. It's built from dozens of small exchanges that accumulate meaning. Amy references the group chat again, trying to normalize it as adulthood. But compared to how inseparable they once were, it feels reduced, functional. Tammy talks about growth, about forward motion, about not repeating old cycles. Amy talks about showing up, about inclusion, about sisters being present. They are speaking about the same relationship from completely different emotional frameworks. Tammy fears regression, being pulled back into crisis roles and dependency. Amy fears replacement, becoming peripheral in a story where she used to be central. No shouting, no door slamming, but something inside the dynamic quietly closes. When Tammy confirms she's moving in, her tone is steady, certain. It's not framed as a conversation. It's framed as a decision. For years, her life required family coordination. Now she's choosing independently. Amy doesn't erupt. She tightens. There's a visible recalibration, the subtle shift of someone realizing she wasn't consulted, only informed, and that distinction matters more than geography ever could. From Tammy's perspective, this is adulthood. Stability. Independence. From Amy's perspective, it feels like displacement. Tammy protects her independence. Amy struggles to locate herself in a structure that no longer revolves around shared crisis. Both are valid. Both are grieving something. By the end of the premiere, nothing explodes. There's no dramatic fracture. What lingers is quieter and heavier, the awareness that the shape of their bond has changed. Tammy's energy feels future-focused, intentional. She isn't reacting. She's building. Her life no longer orbits family emergencies. Amy is juggling wedding logistics, family hesitation about her haunted theme, and the quiet dread that her support system feels smaller than it used to. Planning a milestone while feeling emotionally undersupported amplifies everything. You can move forward and still feel alone. Tammy appears strong because she isn't visibly asking for anything. Amy appears scattered because she is. But needing reassurance isn't weakness. It's the discomfort of transition. The season doesn't feel like it's escalating toward a blow-up. It feels like it's building toward a test. A moment where they'll stand side by side and decide whether they're creating something new or quietly accepting something smaller. Sometimes relationships don't end in dramatic fashion. Sometimes they evolve in silence. Sometimes they shrink without either person intending them to. And sometimes the heaviest rupture isn't the argument. It's the quiet space that follows, the one neither person knows how to bridge without risking everything they've just rebuilt.